Zeno of Citium, circa 334 to 262 BCE, was a Greek philosopher who founded Stoicism, one of the most influential schools of Hellenistic philosophy. His teachings emphasized virtue, rationality, and living in harmony with nature. These are the core principles of Zeno's philosophy, which will be expanded upon. 1. Virtue as the highest good. Zeno taught that virtue, arete, is the only true good, and it is sufficient for happiness. This includes qualities like wisdom, courage, justice, and self-control. External circumstances, wealth, health, status, are not inherently good or bad. They are indifferents. Only our reactions to them matter. 2. Living, according to nature. A central Stoic teaching is to live in harmony with nature, which means understanding and accepting the world as it is. Human nature is rational, so living virtuously involves acting in accordance with reason and the natural order of the universe. 3. Control. What you can, accept what you cannot. Zeno taught the importance of focusing on what is under our control, our thoughts, decisions, and actions, and accepting what is beyond our control, external events and outcomes. This idea later became a cornerstone of Stoicism, emphasizing mental resilience and equanimity. 4. Apatheia, freedom from passion. Passion in this context refers to destructive emotions like anger, fear, and excessive desire. Zeno encouraged developing apatheia, which is a state of emotional freedom achieved through rational thought and self-mastery. 5. Cosmopolitanism. Zeno believed in the unity of humanity, arguing that all people are citizens of the world, a cosmopolis, rather than just their city or nation. This idea reflects Stoic emphasis on universal brotherhood and the equality of all humans. 6th. Logos, divine reason. Zeno taught that the universe is governed by a divine, rational principle known as the Logos. Humans, as rational beings, are part of this divine order and should align their lives with it. 7. Practical philosophy. Philosophy for Zeno was not just intellectual but practical, a guide for living a virtuous, meaningful life. Daily practice, self-examination, and reflection were essential to strengthening virtue. 8. Eudaimonia, flourishing or happiness. The ultimate goal of life, according to Zeno, is eudaimonia, a state of flourishing or happiness that comes from living virtuously. Happiness is not derived from pleasure or external success, but from a well-ordered soul and virtuous life. That is only the basics of his teachings. Here's a deeper exploration of Zeno of Citium's teachings, expanding on each core principle with detailed examples and context for their application in daily life. First, virtue as the highest good core. Concept. In Zeno's philosophy, virtue, Greek arete, is the only true good. Unlike material wealth, fame, or even health, which are subject to change and beyond our control, virtue is entirely within the individual's control. Therefore, it is the only reliable path to happiness. Components of virtue. Wisdom. The ability to discern right from wrong and to make sound, rational decisions. Wisdom allows a person to navigate life's complexities with clarity and composure. Courage. The moral strength to face challenges, pain, or fear with dignity. For example, a person may encounter adversity or injustice, but courage helps them act in alignment with virtue rather than succumbing to fear. Justice. Acting fairly and honorably towards others. Justice includes honesty, respect for others' rights, and treating all people with dignity. Zeno emphasized justice not as a rigid rule, but as a principle rooted in universal fairness. Self-control, temperance, mastery over one's desires and impulses. For example, resisting unhealthy desires or refraining from anger when provoked. Through temperance, a person achieves freedom from the control of base emotions and desires. Indifference to external goods. Zeno classified external goods, wealth, health, power, as indifference because they are neither inherently good nor bad. For example, having wealth is neither virtuous nor harmful, What matters is how a person uses it. True happiness is found in living virtuously, not in chasing these external things. 2. Living according to nature. Human nature. Human beings are rational animals, and Zeno believed that living in accordance with nature meant fully exercising one's rational faculties. A person who lives rationally follows reason rather than being swayed by emotion or impulse. Universal nature. The Stoics held that the universe itself operates according to a natural, divine order. Zeno taught that everything in life, both the good and the bad, occurs as part of this greater natural order. By understanding and accepting this order, one can achieve peace of mind. Acceptance of change. Life is characterized by constant change, and Zeno emphasized the importance of embracing this reality rather than resisting it. For example, aging and death are natural processes that should be accepted rather than feared. To resist them would be irrational and lead to unnecessary suffering. Practical application. A person who lives according to nature acts deliberately and thoughtfully. For example, when faced with a difficult decision, they pause, reflect on what is rational and virtuous, and choose the course of action that aligns with their higher nature. 3. Control what you can. Accept what you cannot focus on. Internal control. Zeno taught that true freedom comes from recognizing what is within our control. Our thoughts, decisions, values, and actions are fully ours to shape. We can choose to respond to life's challenges with dignity, even when circumstances are unfavorable. Acceptance of external events. Events outside our control, such as accidents, illness, or the actions of others, must be met with acceptance. Zeno did not advocate passive resignation, but rather an active acceptance. For example, if someone loses a job, it is natural to feel disappointed. However, rather than dwelling on the loss, they should focus on what they can do next to live virtuously and rationally. Emotional resilience. By focusing on what they can control and letting go of what they cannot, individuals free themselves from unnecessary stress and anxiety. This practice fosters a calm and composed mindset in the face of adversity. 4. Apatheia. Freedom from passion. Definition of passion. In Zeno's philosophy, passions are destructive, irrational emotions that cloud judgment and lead to poor decisions. Examples include anger, envy, greed, and fear. Cultivating rational emotions. While Zeno advocated freedom from harmful passions, he did not promote emotional suppression. Appropriate emotions, such as compassion, joy, and gratitude, are encouraged when they arise from virtue and reason. For example, feeling joy at another person's success is a rational emotion rooted in justice and empathy. Achieving apatheia. To achieve emotional freedom, Zeno encouraged deep reflection and mindfulness. By examining the root causes of their emotions, individuals can respond more rationally. For example, if a person feels anger, they should pause and reflect on whether the situation truly warrants such a response. Often they will find that their anger stems from unrealistic expectations or false beliefs. 5. Cosmopolitanism, universal brotherhood. The cosmopolis. Zeno envisioned a universal city, a cosmopolis, where all people are citizens of the same community. This concept was revolutionary in a time when people's identities were closely tied to their city-state or tribe. Equality of all humans. Zeno rejected social and cultural hierarchies based on birth, wealth, or nationality. He believed that all people, regardless of their background, share the same capacity for virtue. Therefore, they deserve equal respect and consideration. Practical implications. Zeno's cosmopolitanism promotes empathy and compassion for all humanity. For example, if someone encounters a person from a different culture or background, they should treat them with the same kindness and fairness they would show to their own family or friends. Injustice against one person is seen as injustice against the entire human family. Modern relevance. Today, Zeno's teachings on universal brotherhood resonate with movements for social justice, human rights, and global cooperation. 6th, logos, divine reason. Nature of logos. Zeno taught that the universe is governed by the Logos, a rational divine principle that orders all things. This Logos is present in everything, from the movement of the stars to the growth of plants. Human participation. In Logos, because humans possess reason, they are uniquely connected to the Logos. Living in harmony with this divine reason means making choices that align with nature's order. For example, if a person acts selfishly or deceitfully, they are acting against the natural order and causing disharmony. Providence and trust in the universe. Zeno believed that everything happens for a reason, even if humans cannot immediately see the purpose behind certain events. By trusting in the wisdom of the Logos, one can find peace even in the face of life's difficulties. 7. Practical philosophy. Philosophy as a guide to life. Zeno did not see philosophy as an abstract intellectual pursuit, but as a way of life. Philosophy's ultimate goal is to help individuals cultivate virtue and live meaningfully. Daily reflection. Zeno. Encourage regular self-examination. A person should reflect on their actions each day, asking whether they lived according to reason and virtue. For example, they might ask themselves whether they acted justly towards others, controlled their emotions, and made decisions based on wisdom. Role models. Zeno advised seeking role models, wise and virtuous individuals who exemplify Stoic principles. By observing and imitating such role models, one can better cultivate their own character. 8. Eudaimonia, flourishing or happiness. Definition of eudaimonia. Eudaimonia is not fleeting pleasure, but a deep state of flourishing that comes from living a virtuous life. It is the result of living in harmony with nature and practicing wisdom, courage, justice, and self-control. Freedom from external dependencies. Because eudaimonia depends solely on virtue, it is not threatened by external circumstances. A person who achieves eudaimonia remains content and resilient, even in the face of misfortune. Path to inner peace. By living virtuously and focusing on what is within their control, a person achieves a state of tranquility and fulfillment. They no longer chase external pleasures or worry about life's uncertainties. They have found happiness within themselves. Conclusion. The enduring legacy of Zeno's teachings. Zeno of Citium's teachings laid the foundation for Stoicism, one of the most influential philosophical traditions in history. His emphasis on virtue, rationality, and universal brotherhood continues to inspire people today, offering timeless guidance for leading a resilient, ethical, and meaningful life. Through daily practice, self-reflection, and alignment with nature, individuals can achieve lasting peace and happiness amidst life's inevitable challenges. The life of Zeno of Citium, circa 334 to 262 BCE, was one of transformation, from a young merchant influenced by his multicultural upbringing to a renowned philosopher who laid the foundation for the Stoic school. His life story is a testament to how personal setbacks can lead to profound philosophical development and the pursuit of wisdom. Although many details of his life are lost to history, the accounts we have provide a picture of a thoughtful, determined man who sought clarity and purpose in the face of life's uncertainties. Zeno was born around 334 BCE in Citium, a bustling city located on the island of Cyprus. Citium was an important trading hub with a rich blend of Greek and Phoenician cultural influences. The city's multicultural environment exposed Zeno to a variety of ideas, beliefs, and traditions. Growing up in such a setting may have sparked his curiosity about different philosophical and religious systems and influenced his later emphasis on the universality of virtue. Zeno's family was likely involved in trade or commerce, and he was raised in a world that valued hard work, discipline, and business acumen. As a young man, Zeno followed in his family's footsteps and became a merchant. His career involved traveling across the Mediterranean to trade goods, a common occupation in the Greek world at the time. Zeno's life took a dramatic turn in his early 20s when he experienced a shipwreck during one of his trading voyages. The details of the shipwreck remain unclear, but legend has it that Zeno lost all of his possessions and was left stranded in Athens. This catastrophic event marked a turning point in his life, shifting his focus from material wealth to intellectual and moral pursuits. According to the story recorded by later sources, Zeno wandered into an Athenian bookshop while seeking guidance or distraction after his loss. There, he encountered a text about Socrates, the great Athenian philosopher known for his relentless pursuit of wisdom and virtue. Inspired by Socrates' ideas, Zeno felt an inner calling to dedicate his life to philosophy. When he asked the bookshop owner where he could find men like Socrates, the owner pointed to Crates of Thebes, one of the leading Cynic philosophers of the time. Zeno soon became a student of Crates of Thebes, who was a prominent representative of the Cynic school. The Cynics taught that true happiness came from living a simple life in accordance with nature and rejecting societal conventions, wealth, and luxury. They practiced asceticism and often engaged in public displays of defiance against social norms to emphasize their teachings. Crates encouraged Zeno to adopt the Cynic way of life, which required detachment from external possessions and a focus on self-sufficiency. Under Crates' mentorship, Zeno learned the importance of self-discipline, simplicity, and the rejection of societal pressures. However, Zeno did not fully embrace the Cynics' radical rejection of all societal conventions. While he respected their commitment to virtue and authenticity, he found their approach too extreme and lacking in philosophical depth. Zeno was not content with the Cynic school alone and sought out other philosophical teachers to expand his understanding of ethics, logic, and metaphysics. He studied under Stilpo of Megara. Stilpo was a philosopher from the Megarian school, known for its emphasis on dialectic reasoning and logical rigor. From Stilpo, Zeno likely learned the importance of clear thinking and the use of reason to discern truth from falsehood. Xenocrates of Chalcedon. Xenocrates was the head of Plato's academy and a prominent figure in the Platonic tradition. His teachings focused on ethics, metaphysics, and the soul's pursuit of higher knowledge. Zeno may have absorbed some of Plato's ideas about the nature of virtue and the role of reason in human life. These diverse influences helped Zeno develop a more holistic and comprehensive philosophical perspective. He began to see the value of synthesizing the best elements from various schools of thought into a unified system that could address all aspects of human life. Around 300 BCE, after years of study and philosophical contemplation, Zeno was ready to establish his own school. He began teaching in the Stoa Poikile, painted porch in Athens, a public colonnade adorned with frescoes depicting scenes from famous Greek battles. The location was highly symbolic. Unlike private academies or gardens used by other philosophers, the Stoa Poikile was a public space accessible to people from all walks of life. Zeno's decision to teach in such a space reflected his belief that philosophy should be practical, inclusive, and relevant to everyday life. Zeno's school soon became known as the Stoic school, named after the Stoa where he taught. His followers, the Stoics, admired his teachings for their emphasis on virtue, rationality, and resilience in the face of adversity. Zeno's philosophy quickly gained popularity, attracting students from across the Greek world. Zeno was highly respected not only for his intellectual contributions, but also for his personal character and way of life. He embodied the Stoic ideals of self-control, humility, and integrity. Ancient sources often praise Zeno for his modesty and temperance. Unlike some other philosophers who sought fame or luxury, Zeno lived a simple, frugal life. He practiced what he preached, demonstrating through his actions that true happiness and freedom come from virtue, not material possessions or external circumstances. Zeno's commitment to justice and fairness earned him admiration from the Athenian people. In recognition of his contributions to philosophy and his exemplary character, the city of Athens awarded him a golden crown and a public burial. This honor was rare and signified the high regard in which Zeno was held. Zeno died around 262 BCE at the age of 72. According to one account, he died after tripping and breaking his toe. Recognizing that his death was near, he reportedly quoted a line from a play, "I come of my own accord. Why call me?" This statement reflects Zeno's Stoic acceptance of death as a natural and inevitable part of life. Zeno's death marked the end of an era, but his philosophical legacy endured. His immediate successors, including Cleanthes and Chrysippus, expanded and systematized his teachings, transforming Stoicism into one of the most influential schools of thought in the ancient world. The Stoic school went on to produce some of history's most renowned philosophers, such as Seneca, Epictetus, and Marcus Aurelius. The life of Zeno of Citium was one of resilience, transformation, and intellectual exploration. From his humble beginnings as a merchant in Citium to his role as the founder of Stoicism, Zeno's journey was defined by his relentless pursuit of wisdom and virtue. His ability to turn personal adversity into philosophical insight laid the foundation for a philosophy that continues to inspire people today. Through his teachings on reason, self-discipline, and acceptance of life's challenges, Zeno of Citium remains a towering figure in the history of philosophy and a beacon of hope for those seeking a meaningful and virtuous life. The founding of the Stoic school by Zeno of Citium around 300 BCE was a moment of profound significance in the history of Western philosophy. It marked the creation of a philosophical system that would endure for centuries and profoundly influence both ancient and modern thought. Stoicism addressed fundamental questions about human nature, the universe, and the path to happiness. Zeno's journey toward founding the Stoic school was shaped by his diverse intellectual background, a pivotal shipwreck, and his exposure to the dynamic philosophical environment of Athens. In choosing to teach in a public space and emphasizing universal principles of virtue, Zeno laid the foundation for a school of thought that was accessible to all and deeply rooted in everyday life. This expanded section delves into the circumstances surrounding the founding of the Stoic school, the significance of the Stoa Poikile, Zeno's teachings, his students, and the philosophical and social context of Athens during his time. Zeno's early life and formative experiences played a critical role in shaping his decision to found the Stoic school. Born in Citium, a culturally diverse city on the island of Cyprus, Zeno grew up in an environment influenced by both Greek and Phoenician traditions. His family background as merchants exposed him to the uncertainties and challenges of trade, travel, and the pursuit of material wealth. However, a transformative event changed the course of Zeno's life, a shipwreck that left him stranded in Athens with little to his name. Rather than succumbing to despair, Zeno sought solace in philosophy, wandering into an Athenian bookshop and discovering a text about Socrates. This encounter ignited a lifelong passion for philosophy and self-improvement. Zeno began studying under several prominent philosophers in Athens, each of whom influenced different aspects of his thought. Crates of Thebes, a leading Cynic philosopher, Crates emphasized the importance of rejecting societal norms, wealth, and luxury in favor of a simple and virtuous life. While Zeno admired the Cynics' dedication to virtue and self-sufficiency, he found their asceticism and confrontational methods too extreme. Stilpo of Megara. From Stilpo, a philosopher of the Megarian school, Zeno learned the art of dialectical reasoning and the importance of clarity in philosophical discussions. This emphasis on logical rigor would later play a crucial role in Stoic philosophy. Xenocrates of Chalcedon. As the head of Plato's academy, Xenocrates exposed Zeno to Platonic ideas about the soul, virtue, and the pursuit of higher knowledge. This experience likely deepened Zeno's understanding of metaphysical questions and moral philosophy. Through his studies with these diverse teachers, Zeno developed a comprehensive philosophical worldview that integrated ethics, logic, and natural philosophy. However, he felt that none of the existing schools fully addressed the challenges of living a virtuous and resilient life. Determined to create a system that was both practical and intellectually rigorous, Zeno set out to establish his own school. Around 300 BCE, Zeno began teaching in the Stoa Poikile, or painted porch, a colonnade located in the Agora, the central marketplace and public gathering area of Athens. The Stoa Poikile was a highly symbolic and strategic location for several reasons. Accessibility to all. Unlike private academies or enclosed gardens, the Stoa Poikile was a public space where people from all walks of life could gather. By choosing this venue, Zeno ensured that his teachings were available to anyone, merchants, politicians, soldiers, and common citizens alike. This decision reflected one of Stoicism's core principles, the universality of wisdom and virtue. Engagement with Athenian society. The Stoa was a lively hub of Athenian life. Teaching in such a space allowed Zeno and his students to engage directly with the social, political, and economic issues of the day. Stoicism was not a philosophy of abstract contemplation, but one that was meant to be applied to real-life challenges and decisions. Symbolism of the painted frescoes. The frescoes adorning the Stoa Poikile depicted famous scenes from Greek history, including the Battle of Marathon. These images of heroism, sacrifice, and civic duty aligned with Stoic values such as courage, justice, and service to the common good. Zeno's decision to teach in the Stoa Poikile had a lasting impact on the identity of his school. The term Stoic derived from this location, and the school's name became synonymous with the philosophy that Zeno developed. Zeno of Citium's contributions to philosophy were revolutionary in both scope and depth. As the founder of Stoicism, he developed a comprehensive system of thought that addressed the nature of the universe, the role of human reason, and the path to living a meaningful life. His teachings integrated three core disciplines, ethics, logic, and natural philosophy, physics, into a unified framework that provided guidance for navigating life's challenges. More than just a theoretical exercise, Stoicism became a way of life that emphasized resilience, self-mastery, and moral clarity. This section explores Zeno's major philosophical contributions in detail, focusing on his ethical teachings, his views on logic and reason, his concept of the logos, his insights into the nature of human emotions, and his vision of Stoicism as a practical guide for living. Additionally, we will consider how his ideas evolved through his successors and how they continue to influence modern thought. Zeno's ethical philosophy was built on the idea that virtue is the only true good. Unlike other schools of thought that defined the good life in terms of wealth, pleasure, or fame, Zeno taught that a person's character and moral choices are the only factors that determine their well-being. Everything external, such as wealth, health, social status, and even life and death, are classified as indifferents. These factors may be preferred or dispreferred based on their practical utility, but they do not contribute to or detract from a person's moral worth. Zeno identified four cardinal virtues that served as the foundation of Stoic ethics. Wisdom, the capacity to discern what is truly good, bad, or indifferent. Wisdom involves practical reasoning and sound judgment, enabling individuals to make decisions that align with virtue and the natural order of the universe. Courage, the moral strength to face adversity, danger, or pain with fortitude. Courage is not just physical bravery, but also includes endurance, resilience, and the ability to stand firm in the face of ethical challenges. Justice, the commitment to fairness, honesty, and the treatment of others with dignity and respect. Justice reflects the Stoic view of humanity as part of a universal community bound by shared reason and virtue. Self-control, temperance, the mastery of desires, emotions, and impulses to ensure they are guided by reason rather than irrational passions. Self-control helps individuals avoid destructive behaviors and maintain inner peace. Zeno's emphasis on virtue as the only good led to the Stoic ideal of eudaimonia, or human flourishing. In the Stoic sense, eudaimonia is not a fleeting state of pleasure or satisfaction, but a lasting condition of living in accordance with reason, virtue, and nature. One of Zeno's most profound philosophical contributions was his development of the concept of the logos. In Stoic thought, the logos is the rational, divine principle that governs the cosmos. It is the organizing force behind the natural order, imbuing the universe with purpose, reason, and harmony. Zeno's logos is not a distant or abstract deity, but a force that permeates every aspect of existence. For Zeno, living in accordance with nature meant aligning one's actions and attitudes with the logos. This alignment is achieved by cultivating virtue, embracing rationality, and accepting life's events as part of the divine plan. Since the logos governs the universe with wisdom and purpose, even challenges and hardships are seen as opportunities for growth and moral development. The idea of the logos also had significant theological implications. While Zeno's Stoicism rejected traditional notions of anthropomorphic gods, it embraced a form of pantheism in which the divine is present in all things. The Stoic view of the universe as an interconnected whole, governed by reason and order, deeply influenced later philosophical and religious thought, including Neoplatonism and early Christian theology. A cornerstone of Zeno's philosophy is the distinction between what is within our control and what is not, a concept known as the dichotomy of control. According to Zeno, we have control over our thoughts, judgments, intentions, and actions. These are the only areas where we can exercise true freedom and moral responsibility. On the other hand, external circumstances, such as wealth, reputation, physical health, and the behavior of others, are beyond our control. While we may have preferences regarding these external factors, we should not base our happiness or self-worth on them. By internalizing the dichotomy of control, individuals can free themselves from unnecessary suffering and anxiety. For example, if a Stoic encounters misfortune, they do not view it as a personal failure, but as an event beyond their control. Instead of reacting with anger, despair, or frustration, they focus on responding with wisdom, courage, and acceptance. This practice of focusing on what is within one's control has made Stoicism a powerful philosophy for resilience and mental clarity. Modern interpretations of Stoicism, such as cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, draw heavily on this principle to help individuals manage stress, anxiety, and negative thought patterns. Zeno's analysis of human emotions was a key aspect of his philosophical contributions. He argued that emotions are not inherently good or bad. Rather, they are the result of our judgments and beliefs. Destructive emotions such as anger, fear, envy, and grief arise when we make false judgments about what is good or bad. For example, if we mistakenly believe that wealth is essential to happiness, we may experience anxiety when we fear losing it. To achieve emotional resilience, Zeno taught that individuals must cultivate rational thought and align their judgments with the Stoic understanding of virtue and indifference. By correcting false beliefs and embracing the dichotomy of control, individuals can replace destructive emotions with more constructive states of mind, such as joy, gratitude, and serenity. The Stoic ideal of apatheia, freedom from destructive passions, does not imply a lack of feeling or indifference to life. Instead, it reflects a state of inner tranquility and emotional balance, achieved through self-mastery and alignment with reason. One of Zeno's most revolutionary contributions was his emphasis on philosophy as a way of life. For Zeno, philosophy was not an abstract intellectual exercise or a collection of theoretical doctrines. It was a practical guide for living a virtuous and meaningful life. Zeno encouraged his students to apply Stoic principles in their daily lives, from making ethical decisions to facing adversity with courage and grace. Whether dealing with poverty, illness, or social injustice, Stoics were taught to respond with wisdom, resilience, and compassion. Zeno's practical approach to philosophy made Stoicism accessible to people from all walks of life. Unlike other philosophical schools that catered primarily to elite scholars or aristocrats, Stoicism was embraced by merchants, soldiers, politicians, and ordinary citizens alike. This emphasis on practicality helped Stoicism endure for centuries and contributed to its widespread appeal in both the ancient and modern worlds. Prominent Stoics like Seneca, Epictetus, and Marcus Aurelius built on Zeno's teachings, using Stoic principles to navigate the complexities of life and leadership. While Zeno's ethical teachings are the most well-known aspect of his philosophy, his contributions to logic and reasoning were equally significant. Zeno emphasized the importance of clear thinking and sound judgment as essential tools for living a virtuous life. He taught that individuals must rigorously examine their beliefs and assumptions to ensure they are aligned with truth and reason. Stoic logic, which was later developed by Chrysippus, focused on the study of propositions, syllogisms, and the principles of valid inference. This emphasis on logical rigor helped Stoics avoid errors in judgment and make decisions based on rational analysis rather than impulsive reactions or social conventions. Zeno's philosophical contributions laid the foundation for one of the most enduring schools of thought in history. His teachings were preserved and expanded by his successors, including Cleanthes and Chrysippus, and later Roman Stoics like Seneca, Epictetus, and Marcus Aurelius. Stoicism has had a profound impact on Western philosophy, literature, and psychology. Its emphasis on resilience, self-mastery, and moral clarity continues to resonate with people seeking guidance in an uncertain and ever-changing world. Modern applications of Stoic principles can be found in areas such as cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, mindfulness practices, and leadership training. Through his development of Stoic ethics, the concept of the logos, the dichotomy of control, and his practical approach to philosophy, Zeno of Citium created a timeless framework for living a life of purpose, virtue, and inner peace. His legacy endures as a testament to the power of reason, resilience, and moral excellence in the face of life's challenges. Zeno's Stoicism attracted a diverse group of followers, including philosophers, statesmen, and ordinary citizens. His teachings were further developed and systematized by his successors, most notably Cleanthes and Chrysippus, who expanded on his work and solidified Stoicism as a major philosophical movement. Over the centuries, Stoicism evolved and spread throughout the Hellenistic world and the Roman Empire. Roman Stoics such as Seneca, Epictetus, and Marcus Aurelius adapted Zeno's teachings to their own times and personal experiences. Marcus Aurelius, in particular, embodied Stoic principles as a philosopher king, famously recording his reflections in his Meditations. Zeno's philosophy also had a profound influence on early Christian thought and later Western philosophy. His emphasis on virtue, reason, and self-control resonated with many religious and ethical traditions, while his ideas about universal law and the brotherhood of humanity anticipated modern notions of human rights and equality. Zeno of Citium stands as a towering figure in the history of philosophy, not only for founding Stoicism, but also for shaping a worldview that remains relevant to this day. His teachings on virtue, reason, and acceptance of life's uncertainties offer timeless guidance for navigating the challenges of the human condition. By encouraging individuals to focus on what they can control and live in harmony with nature, Zeno provided a blueprint for a life of resilience, wisdom, and inner peace. As the father of Stoicism, his legacy continues to inspire countless people seeking a meaningful and virtuous existence.